Knicks fans, we have a problem. Or do we? It's an 82-game season, but the Knicks have lost 4 games in a row, and their offense and defense, as well as team spirit, looks broken, in my opinion. We're going to take a deep dive into what is going on with this basketball team and why it might be happening. But I want to hear from you in the comments. What's your panic level with the New York Knicks right now? Scale it from 1 to 10. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and for the first time this season, the New York Knicks have hit a rough patch in the 2025 and 2026 campaign. They have lost 4 games in a row, and look, I understand. It's an 82-game schedule. 83 games. They had to play an extra game due to the Cup, and I hear all the, they are tired, and Mike Brown does this, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Moral of the story is you just look like a bad basketball team that, quite frankly, looks disinterested in not just playing, but playing as a group. You've lost 4 games in a row. A tough one, a heartbreaker against the San Antonio Spurs. Then you got dominated by the Atlanta Hawks without Trae Young. The 76ers looked like a much more talented team than you did. And the Pistons, they bullied you for 48 minutes. Yesterday was one of the first games I can remember in a long time watching the Jalen Brunson-led Knicks where I was like, once the game tipped off, they got no shot. They are not coming back in this game. These have been the cardiac Knicks under Brunson. There's been a fight that they have had. They did not have that in the loss to the Pistons yesterday. And I think that we can say this confidently. There is a problem in the locker room, and the locker room, they know that there's a problem. Steve Popper reporting this, saying, Knicks players addressed some of the struggles among themselves after the game. Wouldn't give details, but a lot they could point to after this one. So the Knicks, on January 5th, are holding a players-only meeting. And when you have to hold a players-only meeting, that means there are real problems inside that team. Go back to when PJ Tucker last year in the playoffs called a players-only meeting. And I don't think that, and there were reports after last year that this group at times didn't get along all that well, and they didn't really enjoy playing together all that much. And I think when the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau and they brought in Mike Brown, we kind of just pushed that to the wayside of, Tibbs is gone, they're going to love each other now. And in the beginning of the season, it did look like this team loved playing together. But you can't tell me after you watch that Pistons game, that Hawks game, or any of the last 4 games, that this team enjoys playing basketball together. And look, I get it. They miss Josh Hart. There is no doubt about that. We saw how different this offense looked when Josh Hart was inserted into the starting lineup. And I know there's some advanced analytical people out there that will say Josh Hart is not a good defender, but I think he brings a physicality, a toughness, and quite frankly, a leadership trait to this team where he holds people accountable. And when you see Josh Hart, number 3, busting his tail like he does, that motivates every other player on the floor. I think they miss his dribble drive creation. I think they miss how he can get in the paint, spray the ball around, and all the effort and heart plays that makes Josh Hart. But man, the joy of playing together is lost. And I have convinced myself, because I'm not ready to crash out about the New York Knicks on January 5th after I just had to watch the New York Giants win 2 meaningless games, I'm convincing myself that when Josh Hart comes back, all will be well. But I also know that's kind of a joke, and that's me trying to pull myself away from the ledge. This team has a problem, and I believe it is with one person. Let's just move away from that, and let's look at the data here. Over the first 32 games of the season, the Knicks were one of the best teams in the NBA. They had the number 3 offensive rating and the number 16 defensive rating. They scored 121.4 points per 100 possessions, and they have allowed 114.6 points per 100 possessions. So the defense in the middle of the pack, while the offense was one of the best in the association. Fast forward to the last 4 games the Knicks have played, and those numbers have fallen off a cliff. They have the 26th best offense now. and they have the 28th best offense. Now, that is unacceptable. There's way too much talent on this team, and that is why I believe it is more than a talent issue. I believe it is a team chemistry problem. During the 4-game losing streak, the Big Four has not been good enough. Jalen Brunson is averaging his 27.3 points per game, but his efficiency is not nearly the same as what we expect it to be. Averaging 27 points per game, but he is not shooting the ball that well, and he's definitely not shooting the ball well from downtown. He's also only averaging 4.3 assists to 3.3 turnovers. Jalen Brunson has not played Jalen Brunson hoops in the last 4 games. Mikal Bridges looks like the guy that played last year under Tom Thibodeau. He looks passive. He's shying away from contact, and his ability on defense has not been great. OG Anunoby, he is not shooting the ball well. Either is Mikal Bridges. Bridges has been awesome this year due to his efficiency. OG has not been efficient in the last 4 games, shooting less than 40% from the field and less than 23% from 3. And Karl-Anthony Towns is giving you 16.3 points per game, 40% from the deck, and 25% from 3. So all 4 of the players that are the Big Four for the Knicks have not played well. And when those 4 players have been on the court during that 4-game losing streak, they have been one of the worst lineups in the NBA. They are being outscored by 29.1 points per 100 possessions. I'll say that again. When Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Karl-Anthony Towns have been on the floor together during this 4-game losing streak, they are being outscored by 29 points per 100 possessions. The defense is allowing 148 points per 100 possessions. Yeah, you're scoring the ball well, but you can't stop a nosebleed. Unacceptable from the New York Knicks. And I get it, an 82-game season. But what we've seen over the last 4 games is an absolute joke. You look at the entire Knicks roster that's averaging more than 15 minutes over the last 4 games. The player that is best in net rating, meaning when you're on the court, does your team outscore the opponent or get outscored? Every single player is being outscored when they're on the court, except for one, Tyler Kolek. He has a net rating of 1.4. Then a guy like Miles McBride at 0.6. And then a joke. Mikal Bridges, minus 12.7. Jalen Brunson, minus 13.8. Jordan Clarkson, minus 15.8. Mitchell Robinson, minus 20. OG Anunoby, minus 25.5. And at the very bottom of the screen, if you squint, you can see Karl-Anthony Towns, minus 26.6. And the worst part is, Karl-Anthony Towns only played in 3 of the last 4 games. Not good, Bob. Steve Popper also saying this. Deuce McBride was asked what he saw from the defense. And he said, man, did we play defense tonight? And you know what? I feel bad for Deuce McBride because since he's come back from injury, he has been awesome. He's been laying it all out on the line. He's been giving you all the grit, all the grind, all the time. He's been awesome from 3. He's like 46 of 80 of his last 46 of 80 from deep since he's come back. But he can't do it alone. And he's being dragged down by others. He absolutely needs to be inserted in the starting lineup. We've only been saying it on this channel for 2 seasons now. I tweeted this out after the game. Knicks are going through a rough patch. It's a long season. They have to figure it out on defense. The team looks sluggish. It's first bit of adversity that Mike Brown has faced as the head coach. They do miss Josh Hart. I'm still all in on this team, but they got to figure it out. I think the first 32 games represent who this team is much more than the last 4 games. But I would be not doing my job correctly if I didn't share my opinion. And my opinion is the New York Knicks have a Karl-Anthony Towns problem. I think we are seeing OG Anunoby look at Towns and say, he doesn't got to play defense. Why do I got to play defense? I think there is a major problem with Karl-Anthony Towns on this basketball team. And the worst part about it is I'm not really sure there's anything that they can do. A lot more to talk about on today's show. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, though. We put out free videos every single day. And from this point going forward, we are going to be going live for every single Knicks game until hopefully they raise a banner at MSG. So subscribe and lock us in. Coming up next, we'll take a deep dive into the stats, and I'll share some opinions of what I saw, which was one of the most lousy performances I have seen the Knicks have in quite some time. First, though, I got to give a huge shout-out to our sponsor of today's show, and that is Rocket Money. The new year is here, and now is the time to optimize your finances. I have a couple of vacations planned this summer, and I need to start saving money right now. Thank goodness I found Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has tracked my subscriptions and found that I was actually double paying for a couple of streaming services. Rocket Money helped me cancel those extra subscriptions and save some cash. Rocket Money is also helping me budget for my vacations this summer by helping me set some spending goals each month. Now I can save a little extra money on the side each month in preparation for those trips. Shout out to Rocket Money. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/Knicks Chat. That's rocketmoney.com/Knicks Chat. One more time, rocketmoney.com/Knicks Chat. All right, so we all know the New York Knicks got blown out yesterday, but they were embarrassed. They were beat up, and they felt like the team that was the little bro. They got bullied. They got stomped on, and Jalen Brunson didn't even play for the Detroit Pistons. You were mollywopped on the glass. 44 rebounds for Detroit, 30 for the New York Knicks, 14 on the offensive end for the Pistons, 5 for the Knicks. 20 turnovers to 15 assists. The heart wasn't there on defense. The heart wasn't there on the glass. And the attention to detail, the importance of valuing each possession was not there as well. 76 shots. Yeah, you were good from three. You only shot 33s, though. It didn't matter. You allowed the other team to shoot 51.6% from three. And, let's not get it mistaken. The Detroit Pistons are not an elite offense. They're a good team. First in the East. Better than you right now. But they are not an elite offense. And you had them looking like the 2023 Boston Celtics that won the NBA championship. I love Jalen Brunson. I don't have any problem with Jalen Brunson. I still think he is the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't rather have anyone on this team than Jalen Brunson. He's my favorite player to ever wear a Knicks jersey. It starts with him. 0 assists, 6 turnovers. Thompson got the best of him last night. That's going to happen. But I need Jalen Brunson to up his expectations of himself. Initiate offense. I know Brunson's top 3 in the league right now in points scored per first quarter. Maybe share the wealth to start the game. Maybe get everybody else involved. Because as much of a problem as it is for Karl-Anthony Towns to only have 4 shots yesterday, it also falls on the point guard. But a lot bigger burden falls on Karl-Anthony Towns. And I've said this time and time again. If you're going to have Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, you need to have the league's best offense to win an NBA title. I think with Jalen Brunson, you can. Karl-Anthony Towns has not been the best version of himself this year. And if you're going to only get 6 points, and I know that's an outlier, but there was a game a couple weeks ago he had 2 points. Towns has not been great as of late. For Towns to be on the floor and to impact winning in a positive way, he needs to be unstoppable and play at an elite level on offense. And he's just not doing that right now. His offense is not outweighing his defense. And I've said it 1,000 times. I don't think you can win a championship with Karl-Anthony Towns. When you close your eyes, do you visualize confetti falling on Karl-Anthony Towns when the Larry O'Brien trophy is in James Dolan's hands? I can't visualize that. I still think this team can win it. They're going to have to overcome him. He has to be better. He just does. The whole effort from everybody was a joke. OG and Anunoby. How do you get 8 shots from OG and 8 shots from Towns? I think this game meant more to the Pistons, And I'm upset that I feel that way, and I feel okay saying that. Why did this game not mean more to the Knicks? Why did the Knicks not feel like they needed to maintain the big brother feel over the Detroit Pistons you beat in 6 games last year in round 1? You're playing the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. Why didn't you show up? Where was the effort? Where was the grit? Where was the grind? Where was the will to win? It was non-existent. Kind of like Mikal Bridges over the last month. He hasn't been good. He's gone back to being passive, shying away from contact, and just kind of playing with length on defense. Just out there floating. He's not working around screens. He's not trying to lower his shoulder into somebody. Up and under layups to avoid contact. I need you to be less selfish. Your games played in a row streak, it may matter to you. It doesn't matter to anyone that bleeds orange and blue. Get back to who you were at the beginning of the year. Because you're playing like the guy last year. That was a part of the worst trade in NBA history. That's how you're playing basketball right now. It can't just be Deuce McBride. And that's what it is right now. Deuce McBride's playing like an all-star. Deuce McBride, over the last month, over the last week, over the last 5 games, he's been your best player. Miles McBride, over the last 5 games, has been your best player. And I don't know how anyone can argue it. 17 points tonight or last night. Another amazing game when it comes to efficiency. And he's competing on defense while nobody else is. Like, we just think McBride's going to be able to carry all of us home? And do we think Mitchell Robinson is always going to be able to save us on the offensive glass and generate extra offensive possessions? Like, Deuce McBride over the last 5 games is averaging 16.5 points per game, shooting 51% from the field and 51% from 3. Can somebody help Deuce McBride? Can anyone else play with the heart that Deuce McBride has? Tyler Kolek, like, it is what it is. I think he's a good backup point guard. But it's not about Kolek. It's not about McCullough. It's not about all Diawara. It's about Jalen Brunson. It's about Karl-Anthony Towns. It's about OG Anunoby. It's about Mikal Bridges. I'll let everybody in on a little bit of a secret. To win in the NBA, you need your best players to be the best players. And to win in the playoffs, you need your best players to be the best players. And if you want to put a frickin' banner at the top of MSG, like James Dolan, who came out of hiding for 3 years, said yesterday on the radio that we got to get to the finals, you need your best players to be the best players. And right now, the Knicks, their best players, they've actually been the worst players. And that is what is most frustrating. I don't know how you solve the problem. Maybe it's just a rut and they get out of it and Josh Hart comes back and everything's A-okay. I sure hope so. But I wasn't born last night. I know that's not how this thing works. I'm still all in on this team, but I worry if you can win a championship with Karl-Anthony Towns. I say that while I still believe this team can, but it's more so because the other players. I don't know. Make sure you are following me on social media. We are just about a month away from the NBA trade deadline. I tweet about the Knicks all day, every day, and I post short-form content. So give me a follow. Let's go Knicks.